Today I'm doing another video showcasing a YouTuber, an orchid YouTuber in fact, and you might recognize her, you might know her, but she inspired me this morning because she was in Andes where we were at last month. And what I was going to say before somebody almost interrupted me was that if you all don't know about Andy, he's one of those people that he's a legend. He's much like Fred. I don't think there are any other single named individuals in that are highly recognizable. Naomi, she's one. But those three, because there's Peter, Lynn, there's two of those. There's two Allens, Andy, Fred, Andy, Orchids on a Stick. Even if you have never been there, you know the smile, you know the youthful guy. I can't remember the story, but I want to say his parents were hippies. I don't know, and they maybe traveled all over South America, and he just sort of collected orchids. I'm not sure if that's the story, and it can't be that simplistic. But anyway, he has, I don't know how many, but he has the orchids on a stick. And as I was saying, if you haven't been there, his place is unlike any other place that you could ever go to, because there's many layers of that place. It's all grown outside. You would not ever know that. It's really just an incredible, incredible space from the entryway to, I don't know if anyone else that has been there gets their report card. And what I am talking about is this. Now, when I've gone to Andy's, they've printed out my list before I've even gone up in there. I mean, not before I go up in there, before I shop. When I go to the office or when I wander in, when I'm buzzed in, I go in, and then you go to the office and find someone. I had never met Andy until this last trip, but it's usually been Katrin, who is wonderful, wonderful. But the thing about Andy's, like I said, is they are all about education. They want you to grow the plant and be successful. Even though this is embarrassing, I mean, they went way back to 2015 on my list. And they crossed out the things, and then they actually gave me at 13 alive, 10 dead. I mean, how embarrassing. I bet she kept the record of this. But anywho, the point of this whole exercise in all of this, it may look like embarrassment, but it's so that you can, so that they identify and so that you identify the struggles and the problems, and then they go one by one down the list and ask you how you're growing it, what happened, and they give you solution suggestions. And I don't think there's not many nurseries that do that. They don't try to encourage you or guide you in the way that the plant wants to be grown. It's very unusual, very, very unusual. So while this report card may be embarrassing to some, and it was to me, it was a shock, but it is, when you look at it in a positive way, it is always a tool that can be used so you can look back and reflect on the history. And, I could have been taking notes, or, I have such a memory like an elephant. I really know how to grow these plants. And you can see Nymphopolitano is on there crossed out, and I have that. But anyway, and also there's Frederixianum, and I have it still. But that is the grade card, and there are other factors besides that makes Andy stand out so special. Not Andy, but Andes. And I'll be back with more of those. And so, yeah, while Andy, the myth, the legend, I've never met him. And this last visit, when I was just there a month ago, September, a little over a month ago, he wasn't scheduled to be there either, which didn't bother me at all. And honestly, it doesn't bother me in the future because at that time, I had wanted to meet Andy so bad. The myth, the legend, I just wanted to shake his hand, just to lay my eyes on him. Anyway, the funny thing was, I wish I would have got this on video because I did end up meeting Andy this last trip. And it kind of ruined my impression because when we arrived back to the little hut where you gather up your purchases and then they go add up your bill, the same hut where you sit and get your report card. Somehow Andy's name, we were talking about Andy, and he happened to peek his head around the corner unexpectedly, and we kind of jumped. Well, I did because I was just like, oh, there he is. But I only saw the head, right? And it was that same smile, gray hair, bob, unpretentious guy. So it also happened that I had to ask him for permission to buy a plant. And he had to come out and I had to take him back into the greenhouse, which I'm pretty sure I told this story. I wish I would have filmed that because it was classic. I tell you, when he came out of that office and I saw that inner tube around his waist, I about died. I wish I'd had my camera running, and he was not in the best of moods whatsoever. He was annoyed, and it took him forever to decide whether or not he would let me have a plant. It really made my impression of Andy go way down. And it wasn't because of the inner tube. It was just because he was annoyed that he had to get up off his fat ass. Well, no, his ass is not. I'm not going to go there. He's a skinny guy, but he does have something around his midsection. I don't know. But anyway, so my impression was a little bit off just about Andy the man. I didn't have any less positivity about Andy's orchids. Not one bit. But Andy the man, I don't know. So I just happened to, while I was there, I heard about this festival's coming and Andy's Orchid House and all this stuff. So I want to I think it's Next Orchid for introducing me to her video. And I want to watch it with some of you guys and do some commentary because it is right on target with my feelings of today and just my experience and just I fell in love with Andy's again. And I'm going to show you why. I'm connected. So we'll see if you can catch it.
Hi, how are you?
So my question is. About Tillandsias, right? So if we are selecting, I like this one.
Harry.
So
Yeah, that's Tillandsia.
I would love Tillandsias, but
Beautiful,
can't have everything.
easy to grow.
Easy
It's
to
fragrant.
grow. They always say that crap.
You don't have to water it a couple times a week. Get it wet. That's about it. Give it lots of light, or it'll even grow in shade. It'll grow shade or light. Doesn't matter. They're beautiful and easy, and the fragrance is really nice.
I see. What about this one? Why it's red?
Well, that one that's Tillandsia albertiana, and super easy to grow. Again, lots of light. They bloom. Unfortunately, this flower is over, but it's a brilliant red flower. And during the time they just get covered when they're in full bloom. And these are small plants, but they're well established and super easy to grow.
Super easy to grow.
On another. Oh, here is.
Yeah, that shows it in bloom.
Interesting.
Write all these names down.
Tillandsia somnians. And this is a rather different Tillandsia. It has buckets for water, where a lot of Tillandsias don't. And these grow in trees, so this long spike, when it's in a tree, it'll shoot up, and then it looks for something to lean on, and it kind of falls, hopefully, towards a branch. Then it sends out its
will not
pups.
get in the
And
other
then
nursery.
in this picture right here
Not
kind of
this level
shows
of
how it
information.
grows.
Nowhere.
But it's a wonderful, easy plant to grow.
This
It'll
is
grow
the
super
Orchid.
bright
This
or
is their open
very
house.
shady. The flowers are not that significant, but the plant is just beautiful.
Beautiful.
And it's growing, its growth habit is really nice. And we got Tillandsia,
See, we haven't even got to Orchid yet.
which
Is it on the bottom?
yeah, we got the little guys down here, and this is an adult
The
plant
little guy
that's
and the big
obviously in
guys.
bloom. It always has
One for you,
downward
Denise,
facing
and one for
flowers,
me.
which you can see downward facing. And then what it does, once it's finished blooming, it's still got a little while left to bloom, then it'll start making keikis or pups. And you can see it's already starting down below. And this thing will turn into probably, it could be 100 plants. I don't know. I've never tried to count them, but it'll load up with plants. And it's super easy to grow, full sun coastally. It comes from the mountains of Ecuador, and it grows. I mean, grows out in full sun.
Mountains of Ecuador. I want to see you grow that
Well, this
in
one.
Central Illinois.
Well, this is an Acmea. This is Acmea del Mar, and it's a
Well,
hybrid.
forget about some of these acmeas
And the reason I brought it in is
because I don't
it's
really
beautiful
grow them.
flower. You have a fair amount. I have a 5,000 square foot greenhouse, and
Greenhouse.
about a third of it might have big
Really?
Acmeas. But yeah, they take up space. They're not small, compact growers.
Give me a sec. What about the winter time?
Oh.
So greenhouse or
No,
outdoor?
no, outdoors. No problem.
Outdoors.
No
For
problem.
California,
They're-
outdoors.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're in Southern California.
I see.
They love it.
I'm just curious. What kind of
That's
Anceps.
Laelia
I
anceps,
see. Full sun?
Hilliana.
Full sun?
That's one of a different color form of anceps. Anceps has lots of color forms. It's probably one of the most diverse Mexican Laelias, from the northern range to the southern range of it, and anywhere in between. There's all kinds of really interesting things.
One more question.
Sure.
Can I show you?
Yes.
Because I found one of my favorite Tillandsia. Hi, John. So this one's my favorite
Oh,
one.
Doradii.
Yeah.
Tillandsia doradii is a wonderful plant.
Can I
This is
show
the
them?
giant form,
Yes, I know. I
Right.
have giant
and
variety.
so it's extremely easy. You can they love to grow in a tree or something because these things will curl onto branches and then they kind of hang from the tree.
Wow.
You know, so that's one way to grow them, in a tree. Or if you don't have a tree, you can take a wire. I would grow it like this. I would run the wire down the back side, put a little loop on here, hook it on there, tie it on the wire, and let it go. And just hang it in a bright spot. They like a lot of sun. They have this glaucous covering on them, so it's a furry covering. They don't have buckets like other Tillandsias do, so this is one that you have to wet thoroughly, and probably a couple times a week is sufficient. Sometimes 3. It just depends on the weather. Watering plants is, looks like it's maybe.
I'm guess so.
It will eventually spike, but I don't think
Yes, I think that's a spike.
it's probably going to be closer to Christmas, I think,
I see.
when it'll do it. But yeah,
Can you tell
very
me why
rare.
I love it? That's my favorite.
Oh, it's a strange plant, and when it's in a group, it is just it's beautiful. Strange
it has
beauty.
fragrant, you know.
Oh, and the fragrance on this thing is amazing.
Yes, that's why.
This flower, it's a pretty flower, but the fragrance is literally overwhelming. You can smell it from a great distance.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
I know.
No,
That's why it's
I
my
can
favorite.
totally understand why it's one of your favorites.
Yeah.
That's a really nice little Tillandsia. Tillandsia extensa. Easy to grow. Again, bright light. I tend to find that too many people grow them too shaded, so they don't really get a good performance out of their plant. But what's really nice about this is it's loaded up with babies already.
Wow.
all
At the
ready.
bottom? Didn't see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they're not ready to be harvested yet, but as they get bigger,
Uh-huh.
then you just take them off and you've got
Wow.
lots of little
I
plantlets.
see. I see.
And they're beautiful. This Tillandsia fasciculata
Uh-huh.
is really, really a wonderful plant.
Can you
but-
bring it closer?
Sure.
I'm scared to.
It is kind of a nasty plant. If you try to reach in and grab it, it's gonna bite you. Now called Epidendron Schweinfurthiana.
So different.
It was Ostradella Schweinfurthiana. I can water more often if necessary. It depends. So I use moss. Just a hose. Nothing special. These are really low maintenance. I mean,
I see.
very easy. Nothing special. You can use
Берешь
tap
шланг,
water.
полил 1-2 раза в неделю. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
And bromelias are amazing. Seriously, I cannot not stop with this one.
This is
Yeah.
beautiful. It really is.
Yeah.
Bilbergias are
Can I see the name?
extremely nice. That's called Bilbergia Casablanca.
I
It's
see.
really, they're beautiful.
The foliage is like, ah.
This one
So
here
nice.
is extremely gorgeous. It's just the colors. If you grow it too shady, you don't get this red in it. This is what it's about.
I see.
Getting beautiful colors at. It is kind of a nasty plant. If you try to reach in and grab it, it's gonna bite you. But it is beautiful. I'll get you your name.
Is it the same name or different?
No, this is a different one.
I see.
So this is
Thank you.
Norigelia viridovenosa. Viridovenosa.
I'm feeling like you are learning a third class, right? Third grade. I am learning still in a first grade because I am reading by 2 letters together. It's just so complicated for me.
I am always learning new stuff. Always. You never stop learning when you're growing plants. If you think you know it all, you better stop growing plants.
It's like, can I see this?
Oh, that's another really nice one too. Whitrocki. Whitrocki gigantea.
Foliage? Awesome. This one is one of my favorite.
Vanda? Suavis?
Uh-huh.
Oh, this is, I've got
I know.
4. Well, I've got 5. But 4, I've got an A, B, C, and a D. And this happens to be the C clone. And I just named them just because they're all different. But
How
they're
you are
super
growing?
easy to grow
How
in
you are
Southern
growing
California.
it in a bark?
Yeah, just big old chunks of bark. The biggest bark you can get. If I could get bigger bark, I'd use bigger bark.
Really?
But yeah, they don't need a lot, and it grows year round. I get probably, my big plants will bloom maybe 4 times a year, and they're fragrant.
Give me a sec. With this media, how often you are watering it?
Twice a week.
Twice per
Everything I pretty much water twice a week. I can water more often if necessary. It depends. So I use moss. And I use bark, and the things that want to grow drier, larger bark. The things that want to grow wetter, finer bark. The things that want to go more wet than that, give them moss.
One more time. Watering using hose?
Yes, all the hose. I use a hose. I use an injector. I constantly
Not mist,
inject.
right?
No.
No.
Mist is a 4-letter word to plants. They don't want mist. They want rain. They can't survive on mist, at least not for very long.
I see.
But yeah, no, a couple times a week I give them a good, thorough watering, and they're good to go.
Let me translate. 2 раза в неделю обильно полили шлангом и все. That's it. Thank you so much. Yeah.
And
awesome.
this is my favorite. Well, I have several favorites, but this is one
Okay.
of my favorite epidendrons, Porphyrium. It is absolutely gorgeous, and there are some different forms of Porphyrium. This particular form, I think, is superior to the other one, and I have both forms. This is my favorite form of the Porphyrium. It has the darker stem, where the other form is all green all the way up.
I see.
But Porphyrium is a wonderful plant, and they're getting ready to bloom. And I have a big plant in about a 15-gallon pot, maybe 20-gallon pot. That's the parent plant of this one, and it's got flowers
Give
a
me a sec.
lot.
On this side, is it another one?
Epidendron. It's now called Epidendron Schweinfurthiana.
So
It
different.
was Ostradella Schweinfurthiana, but then the taxonomists decided to lump, and so they put it back into Epidendron. I still think Ostradella.
So one more time, that's different one, right?
Yes, this is totally different. And this has got orange and purple together that is just striking. I just love the color on this thing. The big plants, they will get about 8 feet tall. You grow them in full sun.
8 feet tall.
8 feet tall, easy, easy 8 feet. If you don't grow them in
2,40
full
по
sun,
высоте занимают.
Andy had some getting like 14 feet.
14 feet?
Yes, because it
Are
was
you kidding
trying to
me?
get over the top of the shade house to get to the sun.
Huh?
Because if you don't give them full sun, they will go look for it on their
I
own.
see.
But they like water year round. Excuse me.
Same twice per week
Yeah.
or more than
I'm
this
sorry.
one? That's
Yes, I do them twice a week. I keep in a finer mix, and when I water them, I water the whole plant because as they get larger, they get cakeys on them, and you want these roots to grow, and the only way you're going to make them grow is by giving them water. So by watering them, when I water the pot, I water the whole plant. These roots tend to grow, and then if you want, then you can actually snap that off, plant it, and you've got another one.
I see. I see.
But they are gorgeous. So my big plants, they start blooming typically about mid-August, and after Christmas I still have some flowers on them. So they bloom for a long time. They're wonderful, but they need full sun.
Full sun.
They don't want to be in the shade. So to get them to bloom, lots of water and lots of sun, and they'll bloom.
Thank you.
Easy.
Okay. Okay. What are your favorite orchids? So
Okay, that's a hard question to answer.
I know.
Because it depends on what's blooming at the time you ask me.
Yeah, I know.
Right now, I'm loving my Ostradellas because they're in full bloom, and when they're 8 feet tall and with thousands of flowers on them, it's hard not to be your favorite.
I see.
But Sobralias are close to my heart. I'd have to say that the
Is Sobralias like
oh
this
yeah,
one?
oh yeah, like any of these. I love these big Sobralias. They're where can you
Unbelievable.
stand in a forest of orchids
Yeah.
and have to look up like that? That is to me stunning. You know, I have to get on a ladder to
this
look at
size, or which size you are preferring?
Well, I love the big ones. I have some, but they're not
Really?
quite that tall. I have some Sobralia portiae, which are this lavender colored one right there. And mine are only about this tall. I want them to get that big. It takes time. You have to be patient.
Really?
But I have a lot of Sobralia macranthas that are like this, and they're wonderful. They're just finishing blooming. So I guess they're not going to be my favorite now. I have to think of a new one.
Okay,
but I
I'm
do-
counting. I'm counting. Yeah. So epidendrum, you said, right? Sobralias. What else?
I really, in the Laelia family, Laelia syncarana. Laelia syncarana is a plant maybe this tall, that big to that big, with a flower like that. Show me another plant that's going to do that. The flower's bigger than the
Have
plant.
Andy something like this one or not? Do you know?
Pardon?
Have Andy something like this or
Oh,
not?
Andy has them.
Really?
But I have a whole bunch of Laelia syncaranas. I've been to Brazil several times. That's the home of the Laelia syncarana, and I've purchased from different nurseries down there. And they're just incredible. They don't take up a lot of room, and they give you lots.
Can
of
you
bang
show
for
me
your
where there is? Do you know? No?
I'm trying to think where Andy's got them. I might have to ask. I bet you they're probably in Chris's house.
Can
might
we-
be able to go
can we
find
look?
them. Yeah, let's go look.
Yeah, let's go. And maybe we will find some kind of flowers, right?
Well, now the synchroranas, they bloom in May,
Uh-huh.
so they're done blooming. But they are beautiful when they bloom.
I see. Keep smiling.
Okay.
So today is open house and we are able to select or buy or look any plant which are available, right?
Let's see. I don't know what line it would be on, so I'm trying to do a scan. There's orchids everywhere.
Yeah. Let me know, is it hard for you to select a new orchid or not? Oh, look at these. Interesting plant. Let me look the name. I'm not sure are you able to see or not, but I'd like to return back to it. Give me a sec. We are looking for still trying to find. I need to follow Harry. In other case, I will definitely can lost myself.
That one, do not fall behind. You will get lost.
We need to follow Harry. In other case, I will
You
definitely
can get lost.
can lost myself.
He's speaking some language to the one who knows.
There's Laelia synchronana.
I love this.
Tiny.
This is behind the scenes.
So now imagine a flower
Next door.
this big sitting on that thing.
I hope a lot
It
of
hides
you
the
watch
plant.
this.
Show me another orchid that's going to make a flower bigger than it.
I don't know.
I don't think there is.
I see.
There could be, but and this one is. They have different color forms.
This guy was like,
I think this is just the standard.
take no tea.
There's nothing wrong with the standard Laelia synchronana.
Can I see the name?
Sure.
He's,
Let's see if I can find a better one.
he just
You know, probably you have one.
Synchronana. I don't see a. Oh wait, here's a label.
in the door.
Yeah, here you can
Oh,
take a picture of this.
I want
There's your
one,
tag
'cause that
right
was on my
there.
first
give me a
list.
sec.
I wish. I'm so connected to this little clip. You just don't know.
So I think if push comes to shove, I'm gonna pick the Laelia synchronana.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Although I do love
My
that.
So we counted. That's number second, right? Third choice.
Find one at a time. Now you can find it. At that time you couldn't find Laelia synchronana.
Now you're really.
Except for paying $1
Well, you know, I really love Laelia anceps because
Those are bloom size. The ones you would get.
there
like,
are
they
so
can
many
be
different
this
color forms
big.
of Laelia anceps.
Which one
This
is
such a
favorite?
great- This is such a
I don't
great.
know. I mean, I'm trying to think. Oh, you know what? I have a Laelia anceps that I got probably decades ago now. I call it Laelia anceps Nana. It's like a sort of a miniature Laelia anceps. It's not true miniature, but it's not a full size. And I've never seen another one like it. I think Andy calls it Laelia anceps Harry because it was. I got it, but I call it Nana. That's probably. It's my favorite because it's beautiful and it's just smaller than the others. You know, a lot of times smaller in an orchid, people, oh, I want bigger.
Yeah.
But this is so beautiful, and it's a just, I don't know. It's just one that I was lucky to find, and I've never seen another one like it. Those are my.
Can you find any flowers right here? Just
Tell you why.
anyone.
Okay. Oh, I'm sure we
You don't
can.
get that.
Mhm.
You go to Houseman, those guys will be.
Can you
Those
find
guys
any
will
flowers right here?
We can always find flowers.
But then,
Mhm.
I can find a flower any time of the year on this plant.
they
Uh-huh.
are woke.
The question is can you see it?
They want
No, not yet.
to be successful.
Not yet.
And they will be blunt and say,
There is no focus. I am not able.
You're not able to. Can you make it larger?
I'm trying. Kind of. I'm able to see, but it's so.
But it's so
tiny.
tiny.
Yeah.
It's maybe a 64th of an inch or a 32nd of an inch. It's tiny, tiny,
Uh-huh,
tiny.
uh-huh.
But this thing is almost always in bloom.
But
Mhm.
it's so tiny, it's maybe a 64th of an inch
see.
or a 32nd
The big guys
of an
cannot
inch.
bloom
It's
as much as this little
Uh-huh,
guys can.
uh-huh. I
But this
see.
thing
I see.
is always in bloom.
There's always
Who is this
The big
one?
guys cannot bloom as much as this little guy.
Oh, that's I've got that. That's epidendron, and I can't remember.
Oh, what is this one?
Which
Here?
one? Oh, that's a
Yes.
big seed pod
Yeah.
off of one of
Uh-huh.
Andy's cymbidiums.
Uh-huh. I see.
I've got that. That's epidendron, and I can't.
Orion, Epidendrum Orion. It's I think it's from Colombia. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it reminds me of what's another epidendrum that's very similar to that? I can't think of it right now. Reniferum. Reminds me of Epidendrum reniferum. They're related.
Mhm.
They're really cool because they bloom multiple times off each cane, and they will bloom for years off of the same cane. This one here, as a matter of fact, has been in bloom for many years, and no leaves on the cane, but it still throws out flowers.
I see.
That's pretty impressive.
And they will bloom
is
for
this?
years.
Here, this is
off
Massavelia
the same
species,
cane. This one here, as a matter of fact, has
Floribunda
been in bloom
type.
For many years.
Are you making your
And
list?
no leaves on the cane,
Always
but it still
something
throws out
going
flowers.
on. Beautiful little guys.
Can I see the name?
What do you say?
Sure. Massavelia
Species.
species Floribunda.
Uh-huh.
Mine is dead the day I brought it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Beautiful little guys.
And that one is definitely not for sale anymore.
Massavelia species Floribunda.
Oh, what is that?
This is an oncidium.
I guess so.
It's beautiful.
Okay. Skip a little bit.
I don't think there's an ugly orchid flower. Cool little guy.
I love this plant. Yeah,
And so this is Massavelia mellow. No, I can't even pronounce it. Mellow xanthana.
Uh-huh. I see.
Encyclia Faustina or Faustum?
Custom.
Epigenium nakahare. That
One
is a
more time, the
really
name is?
cool plant.
Can you help me with the name?
This is a
Sure,
video,
Epigenium nakahare.
and I'm sure for you too, because if you're watching,
Cool
you're
flower.
like, oh, that is. So I'll be calling Andy's tomorrow because this video was made like.
You know, I'm able to see something just like this size.
Isn't that awesome?
Yes, it
To me,
is.
when they turn specimens,
Uh-huh.
they just behave so much differently,
He comes in and sees them.
and they're just beautiful.
They just like
Who is
it.
this
Fast
guy?
forward a little
Any
bit.
idea? Do you know the name of this one?
Oh, well, it's an encyclia
Uh-huh.
of some sort. I don't. Oh wait, here we go.
Yeah.
Encyclia Faustume or Faustum.
Mm-hmm.
Need to be in media, especially if
see.
they're epiphytes, they go in.
Interesting.
Full of them. Flowers. Look at this one. Huh?
This little corner back here.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite corners. A friend of ours keeps some of his orchids here, and he had worked. Chris, he had worked for us quite a while, and so we still have his plants here. He comes in and sees them, and they just like it here.
So this one,
Little Phalaenopsis.
I
and
don't
I'm
know.
not saying anything
Here,
bad
let's see if we can
about
get that
it.
up here.
It's just
I can't even see what it says.
I don't know.
I don't either. It says, oh, it says Cattleya? I don't think
Yes,
so.
that's
It's
what
not
I.
a Cattleya. But here's another one that's got flowers all the time. It is super tiny, but it's like almost always in bloom.
I see. Any idea with the name? No.
Yes, the name is Dryadella platystele, I think.
Awesome explanation. Thank you so much. And
See if I can
when
find a
she
tag
will
that I
come here, she wants to see this.
I don't want to pull that out, but I think it says
That's okay.
right. Found it my whole life. I think it's normal. I have to keep reminding myself this is.
This nursery, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This
Greenhouse is
This is the most unique nursery I
Give me a
have
sec.
ever
I found another guy.
visited. There's nothing like it on the planet,
Yes.
and I'm not kidding you. I've been around it my whole life. I think it's normal. I have to keep reminding myself this is not normal. This is not
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
But it sure is an experience.
Uh-huh. Can we go a little bit more?
Forward with those flowers.
Give me a sec. What about this guy? I have this one.
Oh yeah. This
It's
is
nice.
Consiglea bractescens.
Uh-huh.
It's beautiful. Look at that little flower with that beautiful little lip. I mean, it's gorgeous.
Uh-huh. I see.
Gorgeous.
They're saying hi from Ukraine to you.
What's that?
Hi from Ukraine.
Oh, hi from Ukraine. Hi back. Are we live?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. Why not?
Why not?
Give me a sec. What about this one?
Give me a sec. I found another guy. Can you help me with this
Oh
one?
yes.
Can you just probably?
It's a gongora or acropera.
Uh-huh.
It's beautiful. Always has pendant spikes like that.
Bigger one in a greenhouse and another one.
I am not
It's
sure.
Acropera
Look,
galliata.
why Galeata can be yellow, it can be brownish. It's so different.
Oh yeah, well certain orchids have a wide range. They can range,
see.
you know,
I see.
but others are just the same, like a little cookie cutter. You make them all the same.
Yeah.
Maybe
No
this one,
variation.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I prefer variation, genetics.
I see.
That's what makes orchids so interesting.
Another hi from Russia.
Ah, I bet.
Give me a sec. What about this one?
I'm in love.
This is a dendrobium.
Another question and
And
how
the
you
flowers are kind of
doing fertilizing.
they're not as fresh as they could be, but they're still pretty nice.
I saw similar, but more bigger one in
Oh,
a
yeah.
greenhouse in
Exactly.
another one.
This section has similar flowers. They're I love them. How could you not like them?
And do you know the name of this one? I just don't remember.
I don't remember.
Okay,
either, but
that's okay. That's okay. I am not sure that he will. If it is not for sale, probably it's
I'm not
okay.
sure which one.
Maybe this one, right? Should be. I am looking.
Yeah, it does. Let's
Uh-huh.
see. There we
Yeah.
go. Oh, Dendrobium rotostictum.
This week we will
Give me a sec.
That makes sense. That's what it is. Dendrobium rotostictum.
So another question, and how you are doing fertilizing, right?
Fertilizing.
Uh-huh.
Well, we use a fertilizer injector. So it's we have reverse osmosis water run through fertilizer injectors, and we have different injectors for different things. We can inject Epsom salts, and we can inject high nitrogen fertilizer for growth. We can inject calcium, magnesium. We can do them separately because you don't want to mix them all together because then it precipitates out and
I
doesn't,
see.
is not available for the
Is it
plant.
any kind of system like this week we will do this one, or
Well, Andy, I'm not exactly sure his
Yeah.
whole system, but at home when I fertilize, I have 3 fertilizers. I have acid special, which is 2177, and I've got a CalMag, and then I've got Epsom salts, a magnesium sulfate, and I rotate between the acid special and the Epsom, or the acid special and the CalMag, and then I throw, I mix. Then maybe I'll change the tank and go to Epsom salts. I try to to rotate them around.
Is it like each day or each
when
water?
I water, I always water with fertilizer, but
I
at a
see.
very low rate.
I see. Lower than they are rated then.
Right, you don't want to over fertilize because
Yeah.
then you damage the roots, you damage the plant. It's better to, it's like for us, they say it's better for us to eat lots of smaller meals than one big meal. Same with orchids.
I see.
They get fed all the time when it rains. The rain will pick up free nitrogen in the atmosphere that's created by lightning, and then any other little micronutrients on its way to the roots, and then over the roots and onto the ground. So it doesn't have a very long time to pick it up. It does it it has its grabs. That's why orchid roots actively transport water when they're alive. And when they're dead, they passively transport water. It's
Question.
like a wick.
Question. You are fertilizing it, right? And is there any kind of orchids which not requires at all or scary fertilizer?
Mother Nature fertilizes all her plants. And so they can go through periods of low food, but then the performance of the plant is affected. So fertilizer does make a difference.
I see.
I think it's an important aspect. It's all overlooked a lot of times. People do not fertilize enough. And then you can have the other side where they fertilize too much. And
Give me a sec. But when you're watering whole plant or
whole plant, everything.
so means by leaf, by everything, right?
You can try to avoid the flowers if you want.
Yeah.
But in nature, it rains.
I see.
A lot of times, the flowers are timed to bloom in the dry season. But what I love about talking about orchids is you can yes, no, maybe, and sometimes can be the correct answer to the same question. It depends on the plant.
I see.
But generally speaking, when we're in here watering, everything gets wet. Flowers and all.
I have one more question. Oh,
Look at that little guy.
give me a sec. I'd like to see it.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah, we need a name.
I know, I'm trying to get it.
Let me jump inside. That's okay.
I can't.
It's okay. Okay. I am able to see it. Is it? That's
It's
different
something
one.
species.
That's okay.
Stenocylus species, India.
I see. Awesome. One more. Oh, mamma mia! Look at this one. Look at this guy.
I know. I'm gonna see if I can get him to turn up a little bit. He's looking down.
That's enough.
Isn't
That's
that
enough.
beautiful?
Yeah. So, give me a sec. Is it Lycasta or what is that?
This is it looks like a Lycast.
Lycasta. Okay.
I don't see a name on it.
Maybe the same as this one. Agree? No. Angloa?
Yeah,
No,
so-
that's not Angloa.
That's but that's not an Anguloa.
I agree. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's skip
No,
this
I don't
part.
know.
We don't know. That's okay.
Yeah. Andy or Catherine's probably. These are kind of cool. Micro.
You know,
Rostrata.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, Rostrata. Microphora or Rostrata. Interesting.
This one is huge. Make a record video.
It would help with that one.
Yeah.
Or the tall sobrelias.
Yes.
Who wants to do all that to look at
It?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that from a long
Шамбургия,
ways
да,
away.
это
And I was going, I
Шамбургия.
should have looked up sooner.
Wow. Give me a sec. Is it Epigenium?
It's an epigenium. I want to say I want to say Tillandsia.
Wow.
I think. It's a beautiful plant.
I am unable to see anything. That's okay.
This is not the same.
I know.
I think it's, I'm pretty sure it's land.
Uh-huh.
It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Wow, look at that. Bucket list.
Unable to see.
Katrina.
Okay, cool. But this one, Шамбургиас, is amazing. I'm not sure, did we catch it or not? Вы видели ее или нет? Потому что шикарная. Вот он, маленький цветочек. Такой капризный цветочек. Ай-яй-яй.
Beautiful plant. That is
So these
bucket
are
list.
like that other one, different
Uh-huh.
species. Wet growers, though, again, you can see why moss. They love water,
See?
but they're real pretty. They're definitely pendant growing. They're beautiful little dendrobiums, but a very wet growing.
Okay.
Let me move a little bit further.
And who is this guy? Just curious. Area.
Oh yeah, Area Clausa.
Uh-huh. I see.
I was looking
Let's
up and
find
you were
this
looking
one
down.
because people are asking. I don't know what is this one. Maxillaria sanderiana. Okay.
Yeah, that is a beautiful plant.
Говорит красивая. Still trying to find any kind of flowers.
Whatever the genus, Philippia.
See of the previous one.
It's not that pretty of a plant, but
Yeah.
it's interesting that it's got such short inflorescence. Normally I see them much longer, but 15
At least 20, I
would
would
be.
say.
I would guess 15. Yeah, they're still
nice.
pretty, even when they got spots on them. You can imagine them without them.
Yeah.
They start blooming typically mid-August.
Give me a sec. That's famous one. How do we call it?
Look at that
They
thing.
bloom for a long time. They're wonderful.
You know, so our flowers will get spotted and stuff because we water. But
Uh-huh.
it's better to water. and
What
keep
is
them
that?
alive than
What
to
is that? Look at this size.
have
Ah,
perfect flowers. Isn't that thing amazing?
yes, it is. Huge one. Huge one.
And it looks like somebody stuck a tag down there.
There is tons of
Lycast
from another side.
macrophylla.
Give me a sec.
Lycast macrophylla.
Yeah.
Some kind of epidendrum, right?
Yeah.
Good, I'll put that back.
Uh-huh.
I was going to say, I'm not going to be able to find the tag in this, but luckily somebody was smart and stuck it down in the bottom.
Yeah, I know.
Honey, I really don't know. Besides that, I'm dividing all this.
Awesome plant. Awesome. Guess how many years should I grow up
Oh
my...
my God.
How many years?
It could be, I would guess 15.
At least 20, I
Would
would
be,
say.
I would guess 15.
I see.
That'd probably be a pretty safe guess.
Candida.
Look at this. Yeah, Sandarod.
Beautiful flower.
Beautiful flowers. Wow.
Did they find? No?
I don't know if he's still looking.
Uh-huh.
Interesting epidendron. I mean, yeah, look at how short it has little short inflorescence, but lots of them. I don't know what this is. This is an interesting one. I don't remember
Короткий
ever seeing this one.
цветонос. Но много цветочков. See of the previous one.
It's not that pretty of a plant, but
Yeah.
it's interesting that it's got such short inflorescence. Normally I see them much longer, but lots of them, which is
Yeah.
quite interesting the way it just keeps throwing out inflorescence.
Keep this a little bit on the short
Oh,
side.
Ванда! Ванда! Сирули?
This is mine.
This one?
Harry Phillipsii.
Show me it. I cannot.
So Andy's got orchids named after him,
Ага.
but they're all Phillipsii. So it's whatever the genus Philippia.
Good place.
Well, here I've got Leptodes, Harry Phillipsii. That's me.
Ага.
It's my plant.
Yeah, show
Все
me.
говорят только про
Give
испанский.
me a sec, give me a sec.
So tell me when you want, I'll turn it. So Harry Phillipsii. So, there's lots of Phillipsii, but there's only one Harry Phillipsii. So mine's even better than Andy's. Even though he's got 3 or 4 named after him, they're all Phillipsii instead of Andy Phillipsii. I kind of like this.
I see.
Someday they'll
Congrats.
probably change it.
Yeah.
But for right now,
Ага,
it's
I
very
see.
close.
I see. But how it can be? Give me a sec.
It
Oh.
was we had imported a bunch of Leptodes from Brazil, and these all came in one group, and there were several different species in the group. And Eric Christensen, which I don't know if you remember, he was a taxonomist. He's passed away
I
since, but
see.
he used to come here to the nursery and he'd spend days finding new species.
I see.
And he said that this is a new species. We don't have collection data on it or anything because we don't know what part of Brazil it came from. Though we think it's with Tillandsia,
Go a little bit
which
further,
is this
folks.
one here. But he claims that he did the work, and he claims that it's a valid species, so he named it. He asked Andy what he wanted, what he should name it, and he says, name it after my brother, Harry. So he did.
I see. Good, good. Nice. Is it Wanda Cerulean, right? No?
Oh, that's Vanda Cerulean, yes. That is just absolutely.
Can you tell me this?
It grows in everything. It's in every house. The hot house, the cold house. This house, it's in everywhere. It's on the hot house. It's growing on the ground.
Yeah, I saw.
It's wonderful.
Yeah,
It's
I
an
know.
orchid. It's
Yeah.
a weed.
And it's from France, right?
Pardon?
It's from France, right?
No.
No?
I don't know where it is because I've seen it. It's like all over the world. I don't know
I
where
see.
it is. This is
I
a
see.
Cynorchus fastigiata. That's like the oxalis of orchids. You know what oxalis is?
Yes,
Yeah.
I know.
This is like it grows in everything. It's in every house. The hot house, the cold house. This house, it's in everywhere. It's on the hot house. It's growing on the ground.
Yeah, I saw.
It's wonderful.
Yeah,
It's
I
an
know.
orchid. It's
Yeah.
a weed.
And it's from France, right?
Pardon?
It's from France, right?
No.
No?
I don't know where it is because I've seen it. It's like all over the world. I don't know where it is originally from.
I see. I know another lady went to France, the southern part, right? And I saw it here in a field.
Can be. Give me a
So
second.
this is a Promenea, and I can't remember what the name of it is. It needs some help. I need to give it some attention and do something.
There is something, right?
I know I can't get it out.
Okay, that's
I
okay.
tried.
That's okay. I gave up.
Maybe I think these are different, but that didn't help. That's the problem. These when you haven't looked at them for a while, you tend to forget. Wait a minute. Yeah, they eat the tag. They bury it.
Yeah, everyone needs to be fed, right?
Yeah.
Love this guy. He's talented.
Which is this one here. But he claims that he did the work, and he claims that it's a valid species. So he
Yeah.
asked Andy what he wanted.
Flowers down this way.
What he should
Okay. And now